This is Mayegun live. Thank you very much for joining me. Please, after reading the caption of the broadcast, I implore you to please read the description as well. Then like the broadcast, share it to invite your friends and your not so friendly friends. Tell them all that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. I know, I like making up that voice. Live. Thank you. So tonight, we are trying to put it in the diary, keep it in the diary. The developing story, not just story, but developing movement, put it that way. Something that we are going to look back, maybe in a year time, or in 2 years time, and they're going to remember, possibly, when the foundation for what is to eventually bury the establishment is laid, or just another sort of like a coward adventure. Now, that is what we're going to cover this evening, among others, okay? So, for Tifnumbu, on the political front, he seems to have somehow managed to use the compromise on his supposed opposition, okay, to either force them to dump their own party to join him, or to remain wherever they are as, you know, like a stooge, or no, sorry, not stooge, you know, they're like kind of like spies, you know, like double agents for Tifnumbu, as that seems to have kind of been going well for him in the last couple of days. There may be another problem brewing. In fact, there is another one brewing. And I will tell you why I want you to please show interest, pay attention. Majority of us who have formed opinion, sort of like molders and then contributors, critic and all that. It's so easy, right? For many of us to point these fingers, right? And I mean, like pointing the fingers at the supposed Nigerians who are under the bondage of the APC, accusing them of doing nothing. It's easier, all right? At the same time, it can be convenient for some to say, oh, they are not doing it right. But you know, for me, it is actually about doing something than doing nothing at all. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes what you think is not being done rightly, okay, may actually be a mean to an end. And that is what I want to share with us this evening. After following the Obidients movement, Obi and his people. So following the Obidients movement and what they call the convention or something in Lagos today for their Southwest regional kind of convention, in which they have decided, they are technique, I'll tell you. So they have decided that what they were able to do to shock the entire system towards what we currently are having to deal with today anyway, right? And they're getting robbed of it, was done within a space of 18 months. Now, if there's anything that they believe is going to be, you know, substantial and effective enough against the system, it will be something that is started earlier. This is why, right? So today, they grouped in Lagos. And they said they were the members, they are members from other parts of Southwest Nigeria. Nigeria has 6 regions, right? I don't know if Abuja is probably just left alone. Anyway, so 6 regions: the Northeast, Northwest, North Central, Southwest, Southeast, and then South. Doesn't make sense, right? But yeah, that's the 6 regions according to Nigeria. So what the Obidients are saying they want to do is to recruit at least 20 million angry Nigerians who are of who are eligible to vote, who are of a voting age. Now sets them as the ready-made army that would have, that Tifnumbu and his other machineries and what have you would have to rig against. Do you see why we have to kind of put it in the diary now? Because if I remember very well, majority of those who were kind of laughing at them at the time, were not really laughing by the time the entire establishment that thought they had everything figured out were thrown into so much disarray, so much embarrassment that even the president you have today is so illegitimate that the results that brought in Tifnumbu is still incomplete. On the website of the INEC till tomorrow, and they are preparing for another one. So the last time, the Obidients said they believed that if the election was free and fair, they would have at least amassed nothing less than 10 million votes, which made them believe that Obi was elected and not Tifnumbu. Now, what they want to do now, that I believe they want to do now, is that they actually want to put face, right, behind every Obidient name or anyone that claimed to be an Obidient that is eligible to vote. So what that then means is this. It is like a ready-made army. And recently, Obi himself has been talking tough, like, it's like he's now ready for whatever it is that is coming. So in Lagos, they decided that they launched their website. Their website for everybody who wants to be obedient and what have you to join them, right? Now, let's say they have the chance of mobilizing 20 million verified members, considering what they were able to do in 2023. And then the odd against or stacked against them, Abi, the only thing that missed out of that 2023 charade was that they were told that they would be rigged. Some of them felt like, nah, if they tried it, the entire country will go up in smoke, like, you know what I mean? Like people will have to chase them away. Then that didn't happen. That was the only thing that didn't happen. And it was because their man told them that he was going to court at the judiciary, that story. Now, from what some of them are already saying now, they've tasted, because in 2023, majority of them actually participated in politics for the first time, right? And now some of them will be like, it will be their last time. But somehow, so many of them have actually learned that it is, the whole system is not as simple as it is projected to them. Now they know that they could be stopped or beaten up or even killed by political thugs. Surprised? So majority of them are now like, if we are going to challenge these guys, it must be aura for aura. Anyway, I'm coming back to what I believe is actually a future serious problem for Tifnumbu. And again, just like it is so fresh, there is possibility that a lot of you will probably not fancy it. But it's something you're going to come back to in the next few months when things, because there's something I believe is missing, and that is, number one, any real organized opposition to Tifnumbu. Like when I say real, I'm talking about people who are like, even if they are being deceived that they will remove Tifnumbu, but now imagine having to make 20 million people believe that they could remove Tifnumbu, and then you see that as nothing. Then you probably have no idea what you're talking about. So now let's go to Lagos and kind of like witness few of what they did, and I will come back and break some of it down for you. So tonight, we're stopping by in Lagos first.
Please, let's go there together. Some of us tried. Some of us brought 2/10. Only in Nigeria, we held him. We couldn't even hear the chorus. All right, we are get set. We are ready now. We are set for the anthem. The Obidients anthem. Please, we want someone to come and lead us in that, to coordinate so that we will then make this.
Obedient movement. A new Nigeria is possible. My colleague, the incoming governor of Lagos State, DRB, the greater coordinator of the Obedient movement, my friend Dr. Mobilise, and friend and brother and party. Compares to all your life. No, it will be looked at, you know where we call ourselves government. The regional coordinator of the government in the Southwest. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here. And a lot of people have said a lot of things. Just to have one or two things, I think as a movement we need to do. As Parity has said, we should be thinking about leadership. No, but we must fix Nigeria. Task of rescue Nigeria, next week, all of us.
Because it lies in your hands, every one of you. You are our foundation. You are our movement. You are our strength. You are our support.
Now, you see, I want to tell you why they cannot be underrated, and they must not be underrated. And when I say this, I am not saying that still Tifnumbu and his gang would not want to twist them and still run them streets. But there's something you have to see beyond them being able to pull 20 million verified members of theirs in 18 months. 18 months. They were able to give the establishment a run for his money. That is a fact. 11 states, I remember, was it 11 or 12? 11 states were declared for them. And I'm talking about states that are usually, they have traditional kind of like, political sort of mafias who controls them. He cleared them in eastern part of Nigeria, cleared them in the east, south Nigeria. That's another region, right? Cleared them up to Akwa Ibom, Cross River. You understand? Owerri, Imo State, where all places of Digba was, he cleared them in all those places. And these are like the traditional places where these guys have their mafias in control, right? Then he left that place down to the southern part, to the western part of Nigeria. A bit in front and back of his house. Ali Mosho local government, their traditional base in Lagos, was totally demolished. despite all the intimidation and threats. That's a fact, right? Okay. Now, it went on Zoom to the Middle Belt part of Nigeria. It cleared the entire Middle Belt part of Nigeria, including Plateau and the rest. And yeah, that was where the entire rigging became obvious and ridiculous, including Abuja. It beat the traditional, the traditional politicians. It beat them silly, blue, black, in Aso Rock, Apple Villa, entire Abuja, without giving anybody a dime. Do you understand what that means? That if the establishments were caught off guard by this Obidients, which, yeah, it's kind of named after Obiabi, but I think it represents the frustrated Nigerians in that contraption, right? That would go for anything but this APC, right? So that's what I think it represents. And because of their naivety, their newness, and the rest of that, they got muzzled out. Now, here is where I want you to pay attention. And if you want to laugh now, you should, because you may not be laughing long. And listen to me, this is not me kind of believing that the establishment does not have what it takes, right, to still try to muzzle them. I am more interested in that number. And if that number finally exists, I am more interested in what will happen after. Because if we say, every time we say Nigerians are supposed to start a revolution, Nigerians are supposed to, now revolution will resolve this thing. Or you know something, I agree, the revolution is not planned. It's always spontaneous. But you must never forget that something, revolution that will spark and erupt is a build-up of accumulated frustration. So if you are looking for a very, very good banger that can indeed throw the establishment off their high cliffs or high horses, well, this is a good one. So like I said, you can look at them, you can say they are doing it wrongly, they are supposed to go and do this right now. I will agree with you and I will agree with them. You know why? You want them to do something, you probably are not doing anything per se, like physically, right? Okay, I don't want to get to make you feel like, you have to, even though, yeah, it should be. Now, to them, it's mostly voluntary. Do you understand? Now, imagine if they are now able to gather together their verified members, running into tens of millions, that they are able to sort of like bring out millions again. Remember, they are volunteers. So nobody needs to give them a bag of money. Remember that. So now, if you are now able to put 20 million together, and they are those, as they are already saying themselves, they are going to be the soldiers, their polling units and all of that stuff. Sure, you get like. So they intend to overwhelm the establishment and whatever their plot is. Now, again, don't forget, they can still declare their result. They can still, in which I personally really want them to, like, want them to kind of like do what they normally do, call their bluff, so that we can then see the real side of these frustrated Nigerians who are going to sign up and call themselves as sign up as a obedient movement. 20 million. Tifnumbu, what is his name? Tifnumbu, Atifku, Kwakwansop, and the rest of them, right? They can't single-handedly pull off, right, what this Obidient did in 2023. But because they already have an established kind of like a, structure, established structures include from local governments, to federal, how they move money, everybody needs to be paid, including those who are going to queue to elect delegates from the grassroots. They have to be paid. The person who paid them well is going to end up as candidate. So in this regard, everyone who you